Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Elaine Studying Academy for Online Learning for Estheticians. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite tools, high frequency. So high frequency is, to me, one of the gold standards pieces of equipment that you need to have in the treatment room. So let's start. So this high frequency, which is an alternating or oscillating current, can be used directly on the skin or indirectly. So it's an alternating current, but it can be used directly on the skin. All right, so the machine uses a high frequency current that alternates over 100,000 times cycles per second. Okay, so let's look at the glass electrodes. So we have these different electrodes. They are glass, so you have to be very careful that they don't break. And they are different shapes, and we're going to go over the shapes that you get with your. Now you may have a high frequency that is in a 9-in-1 or standalone, or the one that I have here, which is basically one that you can take wherever you go, and you can of course have it on your treatment table. So it's a small piece, which is great when you don't have a lot of space. Because if you don't have a 9-in-1 and you don't have a lot of space in your treatment room, then I recommend that you get one of these that are portable and not expensive, but is incredible when you are dealing with acne on the skin. I love it for acne, and even post-waxing is something that you could consider. So the glass electrode, let's take for example, this is a mushroom electrode. How I like to use it is I like to have a piece of gauze on the skin. And the reason for that is I like to have a gap between the skin and the electrode that will help be antiseptic and disinfect the skin, and will create that ozone between the layer. And we also do a nice circular movement on the skin and in the areas of need. So for example, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you have somebody with a combination skin that's oily, acneic, but just in certain areas, you would only need to do it in that area. And the gauze, the loopy gauze that you use, makes it easier to slide on the skin, and also creates that gap between the skin and the electrode. Indirect high frequency is when the client is holding the electrode. And what I like to do when the client's holding the electrode is actually I like to wrap my towel, my hand towel, around to keep the client's hand, because you don't want the client to break it. But the client is going to be holding the electrode, and you're going to be putting your hands on their face, and you're going to be doing a massage. Now, there's one massage movement that we do not do during this type of massage, and that's tapotement. Because we don't want to be doing tapping on the face. Why? We're breaking the current, because the current is flowing through your hands onto the client. So you're creating this beautiful electrical current that's actually going through your hands onto the client's skin. So what are the benefits? Direct high frequency. Remember, it's an alternating, oscillating current, but we're using a direct method on the skin. All right. The glass electrode is moved in a circular motion slowly over the skin. The client may feel a warm, tingling, buzzing sensation. Have you ever watched that movie Bugs Life? When my kids were little, it was one of my favorite movies. So the bug would say, "Oh, don't look into the light, don't look into the light," and you know, zip, zip, zip. So I always tell my clients what to expect in any service that I do. That they're going to feel like they're going to feel a tingling, a warming, but with the direct method, not direct current. With the direct method, it's an alternating current. With a direct method, the client's going to feel a warm, tingling, buzzing sensation, right? What are the benefits of that? The benefits is that it's great effect on oily areas of the skin, helps to alleviate bacteria and assists in healing of pustules, improves the condition of blemished skin. So those are the really good benefits. Now here is something that you don't hear all the time. So this is a tiny little takeaway that I'm going to give you. It improves the dry skin due to the stimulation of sebaceous glands if applied for a short time, 5 minutes or less. Okay, so then we have the indirect method. Indirect, remember, the client is holding the electrode and you're wrapping the towel around the hand just to stop the client from letting go or breaking and just keeping it comfortable. So the client holds the electrode in the hand and the therapist massages the face with the hands. This is a warm sensation felt under the therapist's hands. What are the benefits of doing that Viennese massage, that indirect high frequency method? That improves the circulation of dry skin, improves the appearance of sluggish skin, aids in a deeper absorption of the massage medium, a massage cream or a massage oil. But if you have a beautiful massage cream with antioxidants as well as anti-inflammatory ingredients or hydrating ingredients, this is an awesome use. Aids in the relaxation of the client's skin tissues and a tightening effect with improving the appearance of fine lines. So let's go ahead and look at the electrodes. So remember, I have my electrodes here, all right, and they are glass. So fitted into a holder that connects to a metal plate. So I'm going to go ahead and take my machine here, and you can see that when you place it in, it's kind of knocking, but I am going to hold it over here and gently push and turn. Now, it'd be a nice idea to also use an aesthetic wipe to push and turn. Okay, that connects it to the machine. And then a gently turning with it out. I gently turn it in, okay? So there is a button at the end of this one. Every machine's going to have a turn on button, and it goes from low to high. And you can see how that is, now if I'm going to go ahead and touch it, now you can see the sparking, and you can see that that electrode is got neon gas inside of the electrode. So let's have a look at the different electrodes. This is what we call a mushroom, right? So to recap, they are a glass electrode. The gas is inside this tube, all right? And it is the most popular direct method on the skin. It can also be used in any part of the body. So remember in the beginning, I talked about using it post-waxing. Some people do tend to break out. Also great for men if they shave and they get ingrowns or pustules from shaving. Sometimes you can get two large size. You can get one this size and then a larger size. So the smaller size is great for faces and the bigger size is great for the body. But of course, this is fine for the body too. So awesome for my waxing estheticians. This is a great thing to have to add on complimentary to your clients. All right, the flattened dome, here I call this a spoon, is excellent for molding the contours of the chin and the nose. And now remember, I avoid the nose and the cheek area if there's a lot of cuperose sensitivities. So you may have a combination skin and oily skin, but if they have a lot of little red veins, little telangiectasias on the skin, you may want to avoid the area with that because, again, that heating sensation on the skin. We have a horseshoe that is used largely curved areas of the body, the neck or the trapezius area. The roller, that is directly applied to large flat areas such as the back. Now, I don't have those two. With my portable one, I just got these four. So depending on the device that you get, they are going to come with different electrode. Again, we have what I call the mushroom and what I call for a spoon. And, you know, I would say that the spoon and the mushroom are pretty much the same. This is just nice to get into smaller areas, but a lot of times, because I have students, the mushroom is the first one that seems to get broken, and then I have the spoon, so no worries there. Then we have our fulgurator, and that is used for sparking. So you have a big papule or pustule, you go ahead and you can just spark that one with that area a few times, and that I do it without the gauze. I just go ahead and spark it. That I see that it seems to help to shrink it, and of course alleviate that bacteria right on that area. So now we have a saturator. So a saturator is used directly during the indirect high frequency. This is the saturator is what the client is going to hold. Now you should see saturators that are like a pipe, and some of them have metal in the middle and some of them don't. So you may have a metal saturator or you may have a glass saturator. The metal saturator is an alternative to the glass saturator, and you'll just see the metal inside, and is used to make a circuit during an indirect high frequency treatment. So again, with my little handy dandy portable unit, I go ahead and use this spoon. Okay. All right, so direct high frequency. In direct high frequency, the glass electrode is placed directly onto the skin over a layer of gauze that is positioned over the client's face. So you could use a disposable hair bonnet. You could use a 4x4 that you open up. You could even use a rubber elastic band and tie the 2x2 or 4x4 loopy gauze onto the end. And the reason why I use an elastic band is because it doesn't, it won't, bother with the electricity, and that's a good thing. All right, so the current is dispersed on the skin, so it produces a buzzing sound. Remember, I talked about the buzzing sound. I always alert the client, what sensation are you going to feel, see, hear? And I always say 3, 2, 1 before I start, so they're aware of that I'm going to start. All right, the client should always be aware of what they're going to expect, feel, and see. All right, that's important. What are the restrictions? What are the contraindications for high frequency? For direct high frequency, highly vascular conditions. Remember, I talked about that. Somebody with rosacea, with a lot of reds on the skin, somebody with a lot of heat in the tissue, sunburn, excessive metals or bridge work. You can roll up a 4x4. So for whatever reason, when I had all of my dental work when I was a child, they loved to put those metal fillings in, right? So I don't need it. I've had high frequency. It doesn't bother me. If your client has braces, then it may be a good idea to put the to put something, a barrier. I've seen estheticians use a tongue depressor, but remember that the wood, you could splinter in the mouth, so I would recommend an aesthetic wipe, me personally, okay? A client that is very stressed, that has a lot of anxiety, this may cause them to have more anxiety. So that's why when I do my high frequency, I turn it on, and I let the client hear the noise. I touch it once or twice, touch it, and then I go ahead and touch it onto the client, right? So that way they can then hear, feel, and see the situation. Okay. So precautions. Ensure that the dials are at 0 before applying the electrode to the client. Test the machine on yourself prior to application. We want to make sure that we remove jewelry to prevent shock. Ensure that both you and the client are not in contact with anything metal, otherwise you may feel a shock. Explain about the buzzing noise, the ozone smell, and the glow produced by the electrode. Always keep the electrode in contact with the client to prevent shocks. Always keep one hand in contact with the skin when applying the electrode method so that to prevent any shocks. That's the indirect method. So I've got the client, right? And I'm doing my massage movement, my indirect. So then I want to go ahead and turn off the machine and then let go. Not be doing this, because remember, that could shock the client. We always want to have at least one hand connected, all right? Do not spark further than 7 millimeters away from the skin, as this can cause tissue destruction or a shock to the client. Do not use any products containing alcohol on the skin, as this is a flammable property. So what does that mean? That means that we don't want to be wiping this down with alcohol or spraying it with alcohol. So non-alcohol antibacterial wipes can be used, all right? And then remember, this is almost self-sanitizing, because when you turn it on, you spray it with a barbicide or barbicide wipe. If you're going to fully immerse this in a barbicide, do not immerse that end, because there's glue that holds the glass electrode to the metal, and I have found that just seems to wear and pull off, and then you've lost this part usually, especially in a school situation. So not fully immersed in water, not sprayed with alcohol, because alcohol and electricity do not mix. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our indirect high frequency. Remember, that is when the client is holding the saturator, and the current is then switched on and passes through the saturator, through the therapist to the skin. And we're doing a massage, a nice, beautiful, gliding massage. So we're using what method mostly? We're mostly using effleurage, upward movements on the skin, and a nice rhythm and a nice flow, and contact is maintained throughout the treatment. And if you need to turn off the machine, you want to make sure that you have one hand on the client to turn off the machine and then let go. That's very important. So the effects of the direct high frequency, the direct method on the skin, is a germicidal effect which destroys bacteria, therefore is effective at treating pustular conditions. This sparking effect produces ultraviolet emissions which also destroy bacteria. This effect is produced when the electrode is moved away from the skin slightly, causing the current to jump across the air gap on the skin. That is the sparking. Speeds up cellular metabolism, which improves the appearance of the skin. So remember, restrictions to high frequency, again, highly vascular conditions, sunburn, excessive metal fillings or bridge work, a very nervous client. Again, what do? Rosacea, acneic rosacea is also, I would say, a restriction. Also, we're using it in areas of need, right? So if it's oily skin, it'll be all over the face. But look at somebody that has a combination skin. It may just be in the T-zone. Or somebody that has a lot of breakouts on the chin area, it may just be on the chin area. Okay, so kind of like 0 to 5 minutes, I would say. It's a very quick treatment. I think it's a wonderful treatment to be able to be used for facial services. There are people that have acne on the back, and obviously post-waxing, it's great for that too. I think post-waxing, blue LED is also a good thing, also red for inflammation, but LED as well as high frequency. So let's recap what we learned about today. High frequency is an alternating, oscillating current, right? It is used 2 methods, not 4, 2 methods, right? We have direct and indirect method, all right? And I would say that the direct method is great for your oily, acneic skin that tends to break out. And then also your indirect or your Viennese massage is wonderful for maturing skin that's lacking oil, a sluggish skin. It's extremely relaxing. We are only using effleurage movements. We are not using any tapotement, long stroking movements, and we're not letting go of the skin. All right. Remember, this is what we call just a little traveling one. It is one that only needs small spaces. The comb I didn't talk about, but this is wonderful for the hair. So it is very stimulating as well as calming, because you know how many nerve endings we have in the hair. Obviously, it has a germicidal effect as well. So it's a lovely way to end your services, to do a beautiful... I always like to end my services with a scalp massage. So this is something else that you could, you know, in the treatment room. And so that is something that I didn't talk about, but it is... not all machines and brands and manufacturers will have the same electrodes, the glass electrodes. Usually these three, and then there may be rollers and some other ones depending on manufacturer, but these are the most common ones. And of course the glass saturator. My unit, the little portable unit, didn't come with a saturator, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. So I hope that you enjoyed our lesson today on high frequency. I look forward to some more online classes with you, and I hope that you are well. Goodbye for now, and I will see you next time for another lesson from the Elaine Academy of Online Learning for Estheticians.